Hi, boys and girls. I have a kind of funny story for you today. You know, I like funny stories, but first, we got to think about something. Do you all know the story of the three little pigs? Remember, the three little pigs built their houses, and one made out of straw, one made out of sticks, and one made it out of bricks. And along came the big bad wolf, and he said, open up, let me in. And they said, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. And he said, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. And he blew the house of straw down and the house of sticks down. But he couldn't blow down the house of bricks. Well, this is also the story of the three little pigs, but it's called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. And it's by A. Wolf. So when we heard the story before, it was through the eyes of the pigs. Today's story is through the eyes of the wolf. Oh, I can't wait. Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But, like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. Sounds innocent so far. He's just baking a cake for his granny. But he ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig. And he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. And I sneezed a great sneeze. Oh dear. And do you know what? The whole darn straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig. That is a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. And he is a wolf after all. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house out of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, "Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in?" He yelled back, "Go away, Wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin." I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake, so I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, "Mr. Pig, are you in?" And do you know what that rude little porker answered? "Get out of here, Wolf! Don't bother me again." Was that very nice of Mr. Pig? Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar. And he wouldn't even give me one little cup for my dear sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. Then the third little pig yelled, "And your old granny can sit on a pin." Whoa, that's not very kind, is it? Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down the pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all of that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. I don't know, boys and girls. Oh my goodness. My book's stuck together. Well, that's not a good ending, is it? Here he is, and he says, maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. So what do you think? Do you think the big bad wolf was innocent? Or do you think he was really going after those piggies? I don't know. He says the true story is he was framed. But I have a challenge for you today, boys and girls. I would like you to try to build a house. You can use sticks that you find outside. You can use toothpicks. You can use popsicle sticks. You can use Legos. Make the strongest house you can and send me a picture. All right, friends, I hope you have a fun day. Bye-bye.